I got myself into a Twitter war with Batman Rules 1994 and Oliver Cusaco. They mentioned being afraid of Angelina Conda, so I sent them pictures just to be annoying, and they got their revenge by sending me creepy demon puppets. So I walked right into that one. I decided to take a break, because this has been going on for a few days. A few days of us trolling each other, so I took a friend's suggestion to watch some Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. And this is one, Foster's Home really took off and really became part of people's consciousness, and a lot of people remember it very, very fondly. Honestly, for really good reason, too. It is very creative. It's got a really cool idea. I remember when it came out. I remember it started with the movie. So, well, for those of you who don't know, think of adoption agency, but for imaginary friends. Isn't that cute and creative? Actually, I shouldn't have said cute. I think cute sounds like a very condescending word. Even though it's more like, it's sweet, it's engaging. It's actually kind of like Chalk Zone in that way. Although for some reason, Chalk Zone left a bigger impact on me than Foster's Home did. Even though I liked Foster's a lot. Because Craig McCracken also created the Powerpuff Girls, which I was obsessed with when I was 5. And he also created Wander Over Yonder. So clearly still working. And then Lauren Faust, as you know, created My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. She was an obsessive fangirl of the original series, so I applaud that. I love obsessive creative types. They're fun. Overall, the show still holds up really well. The episode I rewatched was the bowling episode called The Big Lebowski, and one thing I've known from rewatching the show and reading a ton of trivia is that Craig McCracken and Lauren Faust are big fans of The Big Lebowski, and there are references to it in Powerpuff Girls. Now that I'm able to catch up on that, I watched The Big Lebowski way too late. I did rewatch it recently. And then there's references in this. They're at a bowling alley. Madame Foster brings Mac and the imaginary friends over to a bowling alley and to try and beat her nemesis, who bribed her old teammates with doilies. This woman's stolen everything from Madame Foster. So you get a rivalry through this bowling game, which is a lot of fun. The imaginary friends are great in their own ways, but Mac, the kid, cannot do it. Meanwhile, his imaginary friend, Blue, is just trying to get a claw game. Those things are clearly rigged. But he's trying to get a paddle ball out of it. But he's surprisingly good at bowling, where Max stinks, and he gets the lessons from this other guy's imaginary friend, Bowling Paul, who teaches him as if he's a wise guru. A wise, peaceful guru. It fails miserably. It turns out the guy who created him was the bowling champion. For whatever reason, his imaginary friend can't bowl for beans. Isn't that a cool twist? Funny how that works out. The pacing is very, very good. Well paced. You get a good sense of story. I'm interested in everything. I am interested in Mac learning how to bowl and him trying to fit in with the team, and I'm also interested in Blue trying to selfishly get a paddle ball. And Mac and Blue are in a slight competition throughout. They keep calling each other weak for their interests. Oh, in the end, Blue does get that paddle ball, but he's terrible at it, but Mac's amazing at it. Haha, tables are turned. It's still... What's cool is that even though there's competition throughout this episode, they're still very friendly. Mac and Blue are obviously still good friends. They're just giving each other a hard time. Madame Foster and her arch nemesis, even though that was more intense throughout the whole episode, she's egging on the teammates. They're still civil. They're gonna get together for tea and crumpets. It's pretty adorable. No one else gets it, considering how they were antagonizing each other the whole time. I wonder if this was their Monopoly, as apparently a lot of people who play Monopoly end up angry at their friends, losing friendships. I mean, some people's video games. Maybe it's bowling for them. Who knows? But it's sweet. It's still funny. I see it as one of these... It's another one of these shows that is rife with imagination and possibility. I read up that at the time, Craig McCracken was seeing a lot of very aggressive shows, a lot of one side versus the other side shows. So he wanted to create something a lot more communal, a lot more low-key, a lot more relaxed. I'd say he did that. Because as a follow-up to Powerpuff Girls, which is very aggressive and intense, and I like that stuff. I like both. Because Foster's still... It doesn't feel like it's over-the-top, sugary, sweet, but it's not so bleak and aggressive either. I like that there's a variety. There's different personalities that come out, and it's... Thing is, if you didn't know who created one, you wouldn't suspect they were created by the same people, which is very interesting. Because with most people who created multiple shows, you see similar jokes, you see similar styles, you see similar themes coming up. But not with this. These are so different, and there's such different styles, visually, tone, joke-wise, which is really cool to see. So kudos to Craig McCracken for being able to do something wildly different and pull it off. He'd be a cool one to meet. I wonder if it was different teams who worked on it as well, because it's obviously not just one person, even if we give credit to the creator. There probably were different teams, different visions, different personalities, which allowed different personalities to come through, which is a possibility. I wonder what other people see in this, because I've talked to people who say that Foster's Home really struck a chord with them, really stuck with them. I'd really like to know what other people saw. I wonder what it was about the personality or the characters that did it. I look at these imaginary friends and I think, yeah, they're all likable. I think Blue was obviously the jerk in the bunch. But how did none of these other friends get adopted? I mean, Wilt, who's a big sweetheart, and he's so tall, and the poor thing is clearly beaten up. Coco, who is a living grab bag. She lays eggs and something cool comes out, something useful. How did she never get adopted? I can see some kid being like, oh my god, that's awesome. She has the body of an airplane, and she's adorable. Obviously kept pet chickens, so I have a soft spot for certain kinds of birds. Not the mean parrots. I don't like the mean birds, but I like sweet ones. Coco is a sweet bird. Energized. I could see... Why the heck wasn't she adopted? Or Eduardo, that big softie. I seriously question that. I wonder... I can't remember if the show got a proper finale or if it just ended. But wouldn't that be interesting if they got adopted and, they, for reals, they did find new homes, but, and then Mac would have to deal with friendships changing. Would he befriend the kid who adopted them? I don't know. The possibilities are endless. I think that could have been a cool idea. If they dealt with that, I obviously don't remember. So, and I'll probably be corrected for that in the comments section when there's enough people watching. Still, though, it's sweet, it's likable. I thoroughly enjoy it. It's a good one to check out, even if you're remotely curious. Imagination.